Hi there, welcome to Series 15 and number 17. We're really racking it up here, aren't we? In this portion of Scripture, there's a lot of family rivalry, cultural surrogacy and divine intervention intermingle with the lineage of what's going on that will eventually become the nation of Israel. And ultimately, Jesus will be born into that culture. This narrative reminds us that the Lord remains faithful to his promise and never fails to accomplish his plan. Even though there are struggles and there's broken families, and it really does show that sometimes families can be really, really tricky. When Rachel experiences the pain of childlessness, which has already been in some of the stories that we've had from previous times, she experiences it and expresses the pain very differently. In Genesis 30 in verse 1 it says, "Now when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, she became jealous of her sister and said to Jacob, 'Give me children or else I die.'" This means Rachel's deep longing for the blessing of children, and a blessing highly prized in the ancient Near East. Jacob, the son of Isaac and the grandson of Abraham, lived in that period, probably 19 centuries before Christ lived. And Rachel, who was part of his household, expresses the desperation that many women of that time might have felt when facing barrenness. It's still an issue. It is still something which can really, really hurt young women so much. As a younger daughter of Laban, Rachel watched her sister Leah produce multiple children to her husband, Jacob's lineage. This creates a personal heartache and an intense rivalry in her heart. Her plea, "Give me children or else I die," not only underscores her desperation, but also serves as a window into the social dynamics of the day. Women's status was often tied to their ability to bear children, which kind of explains why Rachel's tone was so urgent. Spiritually, Rachel's yearning may echo the broader human longing of being under God's favour. The logic here is, if it's the way that you're seeing that you're successful as a mother by having children, well, does that mean God's not blessing her? That's a really harsh one, isn't it? In the New Testament, believers recognise that true fulfilment comes from the Lord, not from these external circumstances. Still, Rachel's story reminds us that throughout Scripture, God cares for those who cry out to him, whether it's in earnest need or whether it's in pain or emotional pain or whatever. You look at Psalm 34 and you'll get a whole heap of different reactions to that. Through her approach may seem extreme. It speaks to the intense emotional weight of infertility in that era when children were so tightly linked to divine blessing and family legacy. See, Jacob is distressed by Rachel's demand. And look where it goes in verse 2. "Then Jacob's anger burned against Rachel, and he said, 'I am in the place of God, who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb.'" Whoa, brave man saying that kind of stuff. Jacob's rhetorical question confronts the notion that he alone he can't solve the problem. He's trying, obviously. He's trying to be the ultimate responsibility for fertility in God's hands, but it's not working. It highlights a belief deeply embedded in these narratives that we read. It is the Lord who grants or withholds children. As I mentioned before, historically, Jacob was born around 2000 BC and is part of this Abrahamic line, chosen to inherit the covenant promises. In his emotional response, we see the frustration of a husband who cannot fulfill his wife's demand by mere human effort. This moment showcases a tension between husband and wife, as Rachel's longing clashes with Jacob's understanding that only God can give life. Theologically, Jacob's declaration serves as a caution against thinking that any human being can act as a substitute for the sovereign power of God. His response anticipates the later teaching in the New Testament that every good and perfect gift ultimately comes from above or comes from God. Already, the patriarch acknowledges God's sovereignty over every aspect of human existence, including the blessing of children.